Hello everyone, Jessica here with a super fun layout. Today I am participating in Scrapbook Sunday with paper issues with this fabulous layout by Kelly Feldman, and I am pulling out my Acorn Lane collection for this one, but I'm starting by matting my photo with some smooth white cardstock first, and then I'm going to mat with this beautiful straight paper, which you all know is my favorite, by 49 and Market. And that's going to be my photo. So super simple today. This layout has a lot of white space. When I saw this and I saw those kind of like paint smudges, I instantly thought of this stamp set that I have by Elle Studio. It's called Autumn something or other, and it has leaves on it, and you can stamp the leaf and then you can stamp the little stem bits to it as well. So that's what I'm going to use for mine. I'm actually not going to go mixed media on this one and create paint smudges, but I am using leaves as my little paint smudges. So I'm going to keep it super simple with a lot of white space. I'm just stamping some various leaves from the stamp set all over my circular design here. And I'm trying my hardest to not close up the circle. It was like really on my mind to just keep going with all of the stamping and stamp a ton of leaves and create a closed circle in a wreath design, but I really had to talk myself down and off of that ledge and not do that and just leave that white space there. So I am using various colors of Distress Oxides and a couple inks as well. So I'm using Rusty Hinge and Gathered Twigs inks, and then my Distress Oxides I'm using is Crackling, Campfire, Fossilized, Amber. I think there's one more that I pull in, but I can't remember offhand which one it is. But I'll put it in the description below if I remember here. So I've also, I'm going to do some machine stitching on this as well. So Kelly's layout looked like she had some machine stitch circles in her layout, and I'm going to do the same thing, keeping to that same type of design. So I've got my photo here. I'm just flipping this around, seeing where I want this to go. I did drop my first leaf stamp whenever I stamped it, but I knew that it wasn't going to be an issue for me because I knew that I'm going to add some splatters here and distress it a little bit. And then my sewing, of course. I wanted this to... I really wanted this to smudge, so when I did my machine stitching, I was hoping that my splatters were still wet enough to kind of smear and smudge in that circular design, but they weren't quite wet enough, so I was a little bit disappointed in that, and I didn't really want to try to create little smudge lines like that, so I just kind of left it go on whatever happens, happens. So there's all my beautiful splatters. I pulled out some dried Marigold Distress Oxide spray to do some of those splatters, and then I did some in the Gathered Twigs as well, just by stamping it onto my mixed media mat and then watering it down with my paintbrush. I'm just adding another layer here behind my photo using one of the pattern papers. It still had the binding strip on it, but I loved both of those patterns, so I wanted to keep that on there. And then I'm just using some tags here. I was going to layer them up and add a couple of them like Kelly did on her layout, but I decided to just use one, and I did flip my design a little bit based off of her photo was a horizontal photo, I believe, with the tags upright, whereas mine worked out the other way. My photo was the opposite, so I just stuck one tag here hanging off of that right side because I already had that border strip punched out on my left side. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'll end up adding some twine in that a little bit later. For now, there's all my machine stitching. It's all done. I did that off camera. As you can see, the smudges are there like I wanted. Not a whole lot of them like I wanted to, but it worked out, and it did smudge a little bit like I wanted to, but not quite as much, but that's okay. I really like the way that that turned out. So I'm just looking through these little die cuts here from the Acorn Lane collection, seeing what I want to add. I wanted to make that big leaf work, but it wasn't going the way that I wanted to, so I ended up pulling that back off. I'm going to add this little bit here and try to layer this up as much as I can without really cluttering it up. Kelly's layout had a lot of white space, which is not my typical thing, so it is a struggle for me to not fill all of that in with stuff. So I'm doing my best to keep all of that white space. Just pulling out these puffy stickers. I really wanted to add this little bit here with the acorns on it. I thought it was super cute, but I couldn't really make it work on this layout, so I ended up not adding it. And I have a little title piece here that I'm going to use that I will tuck onto my photo here in a moment. I just want to get all of this stuck down to my layout for right now so that it's not going to move around anywhere as I'm adding everything to it. So I went ahead and stuck my photo down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my little title right at the bottom instead of the top. Kelly had hers at the top, but I chose the bottom for mine. It seemed like the placement of that just looks super cute with my photo of myself and my little guy here. And this is one of my 2019 layouts. So I am so close to completing this album. I know I've been talking about it forever. I had like 10 layouts to go, and I've been mixing them in with my other projects lately and trying to get that book finished out so I can do a finished flip through. But it is literally almost done. I think at this point I have one last layout to do, and then that will be finished, and I'm really excited. So I can file one album away off of my pile of albums that I'm working on. I think I have about like, oh man, it seems like I have 20 books right now that I'm currently working in, but it's, you know, they'll all get done someday, but at least I have a lot of material to scrap. I never run dry on the things that I need to scrap. So I know that I'll have things to work on for probably the rest of my life at this point. But things keep happening, you know, holidays come and go, and birthdays, and we're always doing things and experiencing life. So I'm thankful that we have memories to scrapbook and to keep in my books. So I'm just going to clean up those die cuts. I'm not going to use a whole lot of those on this layout. Again, I want to keep a lot of that white space. So I'm just going to put my date stamp down here like Kelly had on hers. Again, I'm just using the Gathered Twigs Distress ink on that, and then I am just stamping some of these little star ditty things from that stamp set on here just to break this up. I used the Fossilized amber color for that so it wasn't super in your face, and that's kind of muted a little bit versus the reddish Crackling Campfire color on this layout. So I kind of toned it down a little bit with that, and then I'm just going to add in a few little enamel dots and nothing crazy. I was going to put some sequins on this, but again, I'm trying to keep the white space on here. It's very difficult for me to do, so I am just trying not to add a ton of stuff, which goes completely against my motto, which is more is more. But you know what? I like white space layouts too. They're beautiful, and I really do like them. I just struggle with doing them myself. Tucking that little piece of trim in there. Kelly had a little piece at the bottom of her layout, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was really creative and cute. So I'm going to do the same thing here on mine. And then that was just some trim pieces that I pulled out from one of my Not Just for Boys Kit Club kits. And then just adding some twine here from Close to My Heart a while back. This is some old twine, but I absolutely love it. So I'm going to be sad whenever I run out of that. So I'm just going to glue those tails down just to finish those off, and then here's the finished layout. If you guys want to play along with this Scrap Lift Sunday, you can in the Paper Issues Friends and Fans Facebook group, and I'll link that below my description for you in case you want to play along. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate each and every one of you and all of the sweet comments. So thanks. Have a great day.